My name is Jeff Burrow. I'm the Managing Director for the United Capital offices in Modesto and Sacramento, and I've been working with Community Hospice for 10 years. My team and I help manage the endowment and foundation funds for Community Hospice, and so in that capacity we get to be involved with the board, with the foundation. But in addition to that, we are supporters by donating, and that's just not money, but also time. And we've been to, I think, every single fundraising event all the years that we've known Community Hospice. It's just been a fantastic organization. I learned of Community Hospice through, frankly, some clients of mine more than 10 years ago. These clients had an elderly mother that was going through the last couple of months of her life, and you know, when people are a little bit older, right? The elderly, we all know we're going to die at some point, and so they don't really think of their imminent death as necessarily a terminal illness. But when somebody knows that the time is near, the comfort they're looking for is oftentimes not just physical comfort, it's support. And what I kept hearing from my client was that Community Hospice was fantastic at helping her mother, the patient, but they helped my client just as much. And sort of understand the grieving process and to help get everybody's affairs in order. And so that was really the first time I had heard about how hospice in our area, how Community Hospice in our area was so active. And after that, I was very curious to know about the management of their funds, right? Because the stewardship of donor money is a really important part of any nonprofit organization. And so my team and I had the opportunity to, I guess, throw our hat into the ring at some point when they requested services, and we were lucky enough to be able to be chosen to work with them. I think one of my favorite memories of a volunteer experience, or just a community hospice experience in general, was when we were having the annual gala. The event itself was held at a very nice estate out in the country where people were enjoying themselves, eating dinner, listening to music, and we were raising funds. And it seemed to be a big successful event. I mean, from just sort of unofficial counting, it seemed like the amount of money that was raised that night must have met all of the goals of the organization. And lo and behold, here we were towards the end of the night. An anonymous donor mentioned to Deshay, the CEO, that he would like to make a matching donation. And so what that means is if we can gather the funds from the crowd, that whatever amount we gather, that gentleman would match it. And he said, I'm going to put $50,000 towards Community Hospice if we can get $50,000 from the crowd right now. Now this was already after everybody had bid on the items, right? They had raised their hand and made donations in many different respects. And so I thought, frankly, wow, that's a lot to ask. I mean, there's people here that are going to give maybe another $5,000, that the special people that have that kind of money, but I don't know if we can make 50. And Deshay made the announcement, and in less than 10 minutes, the crowd had sourced together $50,000 in donations, and that anonymous donor said, there you go. So in less than 10 minutes, the organization raised $100,000, and I was happy to be part of that, to help with that crowd $50,000. So it just was a really neat memory, and I love when people come together to make things like that happen. Community hospice is so important because it is providing this level of service that no one knows how to do on their own. And what that service is really twofold. It's the person that's dying, right? The person that is knowing that soon, right, they're going to be in a place that's different than they're used to, right? So they're sort of transitioning, if you will, and regardless of your religious aspects of how you think of life or your philosophies of life, really we're all going to die. And so we don't come to this place called Earth with a manual of how to deal with death, right? So if it weren't for programs like Community Hospice, if it wasn't for the services that they provide, I think that that would be a much more lonely experience. And it's not just potentially lonely for the patient. It could also be very lonely for the loved ones. So the support they provide is twofold. And to be able to do that on a no-cost basis is remarkable. So it is an extremely important organization for, I think, people in all respects. And it brings, I think, dignity to a very tough time that we must all go through at some point. Community hospice has grown and changed quite a lot through the years. I remember much more than 10 years ago, this might have been 20 years ago, first hearing about the Alexander Cohen Hospice House, where services are provided at a facility. So it's not at one's own home, but if they would be more comfortable at a facility, The hospice house was an incredible project that was put together and funded, and today is still thriving. From that point, I thought, wow, that's amazing that they can do that. And then didn't even realize until I found out more about the organization a few years after that really there's far more patients in their own homes that are having services provided to them. And I thought that even more. This is incredible how much community hospice is in our community, right? Now, then I find out that they're going to put a brand new program forth. And this was just a few years ago, and that brand new program was Camp Aaron. And for me, Camp Aaron held a special place in my heart. Camp Aaron is for children that have lost a loved one. And really, it's rare for a child to lose a parent. It can happen. It's rare for a child to lose siblings or friends, but it can happen. So it's hard to know how to help a child go through that, because as children, many of us have not done that. I unfortunately had to have that experience in my life. My father died when I was 16. And so when this program came forth, the first thing I thought of is, wow, if this was around when I was 16, it would have changed my life. And so for me to have to go through that, I wouldn't say alone, right? Of course, my mom was there, but my mom didn't know how to help a child go through a father's passing. My friends certainly didn't, and really no family member had been through that. And so to spend time at Camp Aaron, for a few days amongst your peers, right? Kids your own age that have lost people in their life very close to them, is such a powerful opportunity that can change somebody's life and help them through one of the most difficult things they could ever possibly go through. So the way community hospice has grown, I just am amazed. And I look forward to the future and to see what other kinds of programs that might be able to be provided to our community. It's fantastic. Community hospice, to be a part of that for a 40-year anniversary this year. I'm proud to be a part of it. I've been part of it the last quarter of it, the last 10 years. And to have met many of the people that founded Community Hospice and to see that they're still involved is exciting for me. Makes me realize that I'm part of an organization that is going to be here for the long term. And I'm glad to be able to help them, both, again, from the volunteer perspective, from the donor perspective, and even helping to manage those funds. I mean, it means a lot to us to be able to help in all respects. I'm Jeff Burrow. I support Community Hospice. Happy anniversary.